You're listening to episode number 71. That Hannah K. Payday Baybay. Welcome, boss bitches, to the Boss Bitch Rising podcast. My name is Coach Kale, but some people prefer to call me Daddy Kale. I'm a mindset and success coach as well as a business strategist for entrepreneurs. I have over 10 years of experience as an entrepreneur and have helped transform the lives of thousands of people. I hold several certifications including NLP or Neuro-Linguistics Programming, Hypnosis, EFT, Reiki and Energy Healing, among others. My coaching method is simple. Awaken, align, activate, then ascend. Awaken your inner boss bitch through connecting to your most authentic self. Align in understanding with love and purpose. Activate your goddess soul, then ascend into your most confident, powerful, badass self. I know you're going to find so much value here. Now let's rise up. Welcome back, my love and fellow boss bitch, the Boss Bitch Rising podcast. I'm so excited to share this episode because this was a long time coming in my business and just in what I've been manifesting in my life. And that is $100,000 made in 1 year. I actually am just slightly over that. I think currently I'm at like 109,000. My goal actually for this year, for 2020, was to make I know this is going to sound really weird, but $126,000. Don't know why, that number just felt good to me. So that is what I was intending to manifest. Although I have not quite gotten there specifically, we still have 48 hours left at the time of this recording, so really anything can happen. But I shared a little bit about my story and journey in manifesting $100,000 this year. And then I shared a little bit more, took a poll on my Instagram story, and you guys all voted that you wanted to hear the process of how I got here. Well, the first 6 months of 2020 was not looking good at all. In fact, in the first 6 months of 2020, I made just over $20,000 total in 6 months, which breaks down to just under $4,000 a month. I actually was making between $2,000 and about $5,500 on average from January to June of 2020. Now, with that being said, my income was progressively increasing month by month. So January, it was just over $2,000, and then February increased a little bit more. And by June, I was averaging about $5,500 per month, which is good because that shows growth and scalability there. But obviously, if I, in 6 months, only made $22,930, the projected scale of what I was supposed to make this year was not at all going to be in alignment with earning the manifestation of $126,000. So I'm not going to lie, when I sit here and talk to you about this, I was scared shitless. I was like, dude, I've been doing all of this work, this manifestation work, this healing work. I've been investing into myself and my business, but why isn't it showing up for me? And I was trying really hard to change the way that I thought and felt about money, but in reality, there was a lot of stuff going on much more deep below the surface. So let's start at the very beginning of my story, and that is where I was raised and where I got my money beliefs and my thoughts, feelings, actions, and reactions around money. I was raised in a very conservative household, and I genuinely was taught some really good principles around money, finances, spending, earning, saving, all of that. And I would say that I have a pretty good mentality when it comes to money, but part of what I was taught and what was instilled in me from a very young age was this fear-based mindset or this lack mindset around money. I felt like money was this scarce resource that I need to hold on to money as tightly as I can, that I shouldn't spend money on things that I enjoy. I should only spend money on things that are necessary for my overall survival. Now, this actually creates a weird conundrum because when it came to managing finances, I felt like I was actually really good and I had a really good, healthy relationship with managing finances. But when it came to spending and receiving money, that's where my disconnect was. My disconnect was that I really felt awkward asking for money. I felt almost shame or guilt, like I shouldn't be doing it. It's kind of dirty to ask for money, especially in exchange. Like, I'm a private independent contractor. People pay me independently. I'm not paid through a paycheck or anything like that. And for a long time in my business, I've always been an entrepreneur, and a long time in my business, whenever it came for my clients to have to pay me again, it was always this stressful, overly awkward thing. Like, I made it this big ass thing in my head that I would stress out about. I would rehearse how I would ask for the money. It was ridiculous. So that was like clear sign number one that I had this major disconnect in my relationship with money. Just the way that I felt about money, giving and receiving money was just weird for me. I had this weird underlying energy, and I had that for most of my life. So of course, working for myself, like, I made decent money, but I wasn't scaling my business. I wasn't growing as quickly as I actually desired, and I knew I deserved. So this grew to be more and more frustrating as the years progressed in my entrepreneurial endeavors, as well as really seeing my peers scale and grow their business like it was nothing, and me still stay kind of stuck in that same $40,000 to $60,000 per year range. Now, again, I was living fairly comfortably, but it was frustrating to know that I could be scaling my business, but something was keeping me stuck and something was holding me back. Well, fast forward to the beginning of 2020, I decided that I was going to take a completely different approach about not only my life, but also my business. And that with this different approach, I had to adopt a new mindset. I had to adopt this new way of thinking and showing up in the world. So excitably, I invested a lot of money at that time in my life, about $5,000 into a mastermind. This mastermind was a collective of beautiful women, entrepreneurs, boss babes, who are all looking to grow and scale their businesses online, but just needed a little bit more guidance and assistance. So I'm not going to lie to you here in this episode. I was scared shitless when I made this purchase. I got onto a discovery call with the coach, and things felt great, but like it just came down to pulling the trigger and investing, pulling my credit card out and paying for it. And I had to remove myself from my head and just do it. I knew that this was something that I needed, and not only for myself personally, but for my business. And I knew that just pulling the trigger, just doing it, just paying for it, I wouldn't be able to turn back. So I paid for it in full. I had the option of doing payment plan, and I was like, you know what? No, take my money, take it all, take it right now, because I know if I have the option to back out at some time, I might just do that. I'm not a quitter, but I do know myself pretty well. And sometimes I talk myself out of certain things, especially when it came to finances. That was just my regular program. So just making this decision was like a catalyst to me making radical decisions that I really wouldn't have otherwise made had it been for that one big scary decision that I made at the beginning of January. So I paid in full for this mastermind at the very beginning of January, and this literally opened the floodgates. It was like right after that, I made so many big scary financial decisions that were testing me and really pushing me outside of my boundaries. About 10 days after investing in this mastermind, I ended up just saying fuck it and buying this new Jeep that I had my eye on for such a long time. I was in the market for a new Jeep. I had been looking since the beginning of December the prior year. I was at the dealership once a week. The guys were getting really tired of seeing me because I would walk on, I would see this freaking Jeep. I wanted it, but I could not pull myself to buy it. It was just this thing, I just felt like I didn't deserve it. And I kept telling myself all of these reasons why now is not the good time. Well, almost immediately after investing in the mastermind, I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I want this Jeep. I deserve this Jeep. I like this Jeep. This Jeep is going to make me happy as fuck. And I hope Jeep gives me a sponsorship because I'm hyping them the fuck up in this episode. But I am so grateful, so glad that I went ahead and pulled the trigger not only on the mastermind, but also in purchasing the Jeep, because I fucking love my car. Every time I go out, get in my car, open the door, push to start key, like the whole thing just feels good. I've been to a couple drive-in concerts in my Jeep this year. I've gone camping, like the whole thing I'm obsessed with. So thank you, God, for my Jeep and just the fulfillment that I have in that. So these two investments that I've made for myself, both in January, again, opened up the floodgates. So I made the mastermind investment, I made the Jeep investment, and then about 2 weeks after that, I hired my first team member for the back end of my business. I was desperately in need of a graphics designer, and I was in the process of a complete rebrand. Meaning new colors, new fonts, new logo, new freaking everything, new website, new courses I was putting out there. I was rebranding my podcast. Like everything was getting a total facelift. And there was no way that I was going to be able to figure out what looks good. I mean, I can look at something and be like, yeah, that looks good. But having to make it look good, not really my forte. So I hired out, which was an amazing investment. It took a huge burden off of my shoulders, and it allowed me to focus on my expertise within my business, what I am passionate about focusing on within my business. And these three decisions happening back to back to back really allowed me to see how fulfilling doing what feels good is. When we make decisions through fear, some amazing things can happen for our life. When we take some of the pressure off of ourselves by delegating tasks out, we can have a more profound impact and a deeper ripple effect within the community that we are passionate about serving, which is what hiring my graphics designer helped me do. It helped take a little bit of the load off of my back so that I could start focusing more about my craft and what I am all about sharing. So it's crazy how making just one decision, even if you are fucking terrified, still making that one decision because you know that making this decision will help you get to where you desire to be. That although you don't know what's to come after you make this decision, you don't know what's on the other side of the fear, all you know is you have to get out of your own way in order to get to the things that you desire in life. The problem with fear is just an illusion. It's completely fake. It's something that we make up in our head, but it's a painful truth of our life. It's a painful illusion in our life that keeps us stuck. It keeps us in this place, holding us back from our true potential. And so I ask you this powerful question right now. How are you afraid in how you're showing up in life? What is fear doing for you? Is it doing anything positive for you? Or is it keeping you stuck and hindering you from really tapping into your fullest potential? Is giving into this fear by not moving forward, keeping you stuck in this illusion of security and safety that you've created for yourself in your mind? If so, ask yourself, how is that working out for you? Is staying stuck because of your fear, staying stuck in your illusion of safety that you've created for yourself, is that helping you get to your goals and those desired outcomes that you've set for yourself to manifest in this year to come, or last year, or the year before, or whatever? Really ask yourself this powerful question, because I know for me, I stayed stuck for almost 30 years in fear. I was afraid to move forward. I was afraid to invest. I was afraid to get out of my own way. But the only reason is because this was a part of my programming and my conditioning. I had to be very truthful and honest with myself, but also make some pretty big, scary fucking decisions this year in order to allow me to manifest this big ass scary goal that I set for myself about this time last year. So another part of me making scary decisions, as well as getting out of my own way, was to also be hyper aware of my environment, what I was choosing to do, who I was choosing to hang around with, the media, whether it be music or movies or books or whatever it might be, social media that I was choosing to consume. All of these things that we consume and surround ourselves with are constantly feeding into our subconscious mind, our subconscious programming, and how we're thinking and feeling about ourselves, and also how we're showing up in the world. If we are constantly putting ourselves in situations that either are feeding our subconscious mind something that's out of alignment for what we desire, but we're constantly choosing to feed our mind this, then this is going to create a disconnect. If we are choosing to be around people that are constantly judging us or making us second guess ourselves or put us down or put our goals down or whatever it might be, this is creating a disconnect. If you are constantly choosing to make choices based off of your past programming, your past habit patterns that are not in alignment with the desires that you have set your intentions for, then this also creates a disconnect. So I really had to sit back and take inventory of my life. How was I living my life in accordance to being in alignment with everything that I was trying to call in and manifest? And how was I out of connection with being in alignment? So in taking this inventory, I had a lot of tough truths and realizations that I had to bring to the forefront of my awareness. And this wasn't to bring them to the forefront of my awareness in judgment or in disgust. It was really bringing them to the forefront of my awareness so that I can be aware of what is working and what is not working so that I can make the appropriate adjustments and pivots where needed in my life so that I can set myself on the right track of alignment to achieve everything that I desire. Now, all of this kind of happened all around the same time. I was taking inventory of my life. I was having a lot of realizations. I was having a lot of things come up into the forefront of my awareness. And one of those things was that a lot of the relationships that I was keeping in my life were not in alignment with the direction that I was going in. One in particular relationship was a relationship with somebody who was very near and dear to my heart. And they just didn't really understand the concept of having boundaries in our relationship. They felt entitled to know every single piece of information, not only about my personal life, but also about my business. They wanted to know every single move I was going to make, every decision I was going to make, why I was going to make those decisions. And I just felt constantly scrutinized, constantly judged. And anytime I would make a decision that wasn't the exact same decision that they thought that I should make, they would judge me for it. So this created a lot of self-doubt, a lot of fear in decision making, and a lot of awkward tension within that relationship. And the more that I started to build up boundaries within the relationship, the more pushback I got for having boundaries, which again was a clear sign that that relationship was no longer in alignment with the direction that I was going in my life. Just like a lot of other decisions that I was making in my life at that time were coming to the forefront of my awareness, where I couldn't make the same decisions and expect the outcomes that I've never received before based off of making the same programmed behavioral pattern decisions that I had made basically my whole life. I had to take a new approach. And so one of those new approaches was to actively work on my wealth consciousness. This meant that I had to spend more time alone and getting reconnected within myself, asking myself a lot of tough questions, diving deep into how I was raised, who I was when I was a kid, where certain belief patterns stem from and why they were there, what they have done for me positively in my past, and how they have ultimately hindered my growth. I really attribute making this manifestation possible in my life this year. I attribute this to allowing myself to gently observe my life and take inventory of what is working and what is not. That meant that I had to observe and take inventory of relationships. That meant that I had to observe and take inventory of decisions And that meant that I had to observe and take inventory of actions and thoughts that I was making in my day-to-day life. Now, all of these things work in unison. Relationships, decisions, actions, and thoughts. Your relationships can determine what decisions you're making, as well as what actions and thoughts you're taking. Now, all of these things work hand in hand. If you are thinking better thoughts, therefore taking better actions, you're going to be making better decisions, and you're likely going to have better relationships. If you're making better decisions, then the actions that you take are more aligned. The thoughts that you're thinking are going to be more aligned. The relationships that you're keeping are going to be more aligned. And if you're surrounding yourself with aligned relationships, then this is going to encourage you to make better decisions, think better thoughts, and take better actions. Again, all of these things are intertwined. But it does take patience, practice, and gentleness to be able to sit and observe your life from a place of quiet understanding, just wanting to know more, sitting and observing and taking inventory just to see how well things are working and flowing. When you sit with yourself, you're able to receive a lot of information that we don't otherwise take the time to receive. Our life is always so go, 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 do, think, that we don't spend enough time just sitting and being, sitting and observing, sitting and feeling. And when we get to sit and be, observe, and feel, we can be in the moment to see and feel what is working best for us and what just isn't working anymore. And I feel like that is probably the biggest thing that I had to do this year, is just sit and be with myself. Get really comfortable in feeling the flow of my life and feeling into the flow of my life. Allowing myself to feel what is good, to feel what doesn't feel good. Sometimes we continuously make decisions and surround ourselves with people that don't really make us feel good, that aren't really in alignment with our higher self, because it's just what we're comfortable with. It's just what we've done for however long. And so in one sense, it feels safe and comfortable. But when we really get quiet and listen, and when we learn to listen from that gentle place of peace and deeper wanting of understanding, that is where the magic happens. That is where you can feel the call and the guidance and the pull forward into what is fully aligned for your soul in this journey that hopefully we're all embarking on. Now, I say this journey that hopefully we are all embarking on because we are closing out this year. 2020 has been a tough fucking year for us all, but I hope that each and every single one of you listening has learned some powerful things about yourself, about your life, about your dreams, about your heart, about your soul, about all aspects and facets of who you are as a human being, and how you're showing up to conquer your dreams and to make a powerful impact in this world. Each and every single one of you listening right now has a powerful purpose, a very intentional reason why you're here on earth. But it is your job to tap into what that purpose, that reason is. It is your job to take responsibility for your healing. It is your job to go deeper within your soul, to unblock yourself so that you can begin to manifest the dreams, goals, and desires you have set for yourself. Now, I always love doing intention setting at the end of every month in preparation for the next month, but of course, who doesn't like a good New Year's resolution and goal setting session? I know I do, but I've actually been surprised. I've been having this conversation with so many people lately, and some of the people that are in my life that don't have a goal setting regimen, or they just don't do anything when it comes to their goals. They just have it in their head and they leave it there. I'm like, girlfriend, this is why you stay stuck. When we intend to have something in our life, it doesn't matter whether it's $100,000, $100 million, a husband, it doesn't fucking matter. Whatever we're intending to have with our life, it takes intention, but intention is just the first thing it takes. Intention, aligned action is very important, and knowing yourself so deeply that you can learn how to get out of your way and just lean into the flow of life. So with all of that being said, I want to help you intentionally manifest all of the goals that you have for 2021 and beyond. I have created my Breakthrough 2021 virtual summit. And this virtual summit combines not only my experience and expertise as I teach you and guide you through manifestation principles, but I've also invited 6 different guest expert coaches, mentors, and doctors to come into this 3-day virtual event. This 3-day virtual event is broken up into 3 days because day 1 we go into mind, and we are going to talk all things about mastering your mindset, aligning with everything that you desire and deserve to have in this year ahead, as well as how to organize your lifestyle to make it a clear plan of attack so that you can go undistracted into this new year and work intentfully and thoroughly towards your goals. Then day 2 is body, where we are going to talk about nutrition goals, fitness goals, and how to stay in optimized health. I have a naturopathic medical doctor, Dr. Greg Jones, coming in for day number 2 to talk all things how we can take natural steps towards staying in optimal health. And then day number 3 is soul alignment. We want to combine the mindsets, the body, and the physical actions that we are going to be taking, as well as aligning our soul so that we can achieve massive success in all areas of our life. We're going to dive into understanding who you are at your core and how to better align to all of the things that you desire for 2021. This 3-day virtual event not only combines these guest expert keynote speakers, as well as modules that I am preparing for you, but there are also a lot of juicy bonus add-ons that the experts are providing for you in this course. I am beyond grateful and excited to have not only been inspired to share this course with you, but to have the ability to share all of this knowledge and all of these amazing world-class speakers with you in this 3-day virtual event. When you sign up for this 3-day virtual event, all of the modules are pre-recorded, so you can consume at your leisure those 3 days. There's 9 different keynote speaking sessions within that 3-day online virtual event. To grab your ticket for that, just go to my website, kaleroberts.com, click on the events tab, and you'll see the Breakthrough 2021 virtual summit right there. There are 3 ways to participate in the event. You can purchase your regular price ticket and just attend the event. You can purchase an upgraded ticket, which will include all the things that are in the event, plus any additional courses that the guest expert coaches and mentors are providing. Those will be provided in that upgraded ticket. And lastly, there is a way to work with me one-on-one through attending this event. If you attend the event in this VIP package where you get to work with me one-on-one, you will be receiving coaching sessions from me personally at a highly discounted rate, which is an amazing way to start this new year. I'm extremely excited to be presenting this Breakthrough 2021 virtual summit to you. I cannot wait for you to be a part of this amazing goal-setting, soul alignment, intentional workshop for 2021. Again, all you got to do to get your ticket is go to kaleroberts.com, click on the events tab, and I'll see you in the Breakthrough 2021 virtual summit. Happy New Year, my love. I hope and wish nothing but the best for you in this year ahead. I hope that you are spending intentional time not only setting your intentions, but aligning your soul with those intentions. That will mean that you have to remove some of the clutter, that mental, emotional, and even physical clutter out of your life to make way for all that you are calling in this next year ahead and beyond. Of course, if you ever need additional assistance or guidance, feel free to reach out to me because I am always here encouraging you, loving you, and supporting you on your journey. Happy New Year to you and your family, my love. Until next year. Thank you so much for joining me in today's episode. I hope you found extreme value in today's content. Of course, if you love today's episode, take a screenshot, share it on social media, and tag me in it, because not only do I love to feel all the love, but I also love to hear your feedback. Of course, if you want to get connected with me further, you can find me on my website at kaleroberts.com or on social media. I'm at The Kale Collective. Until next week, boss bitches, rise up.